Invite a Budget Blinds style consultant to show you how to transform your rooms just by changing your window coverings. Canada's #1 choice for window coverings. Visit budgetblinds.ca today.
This is Newcap News with Bart Pediasic.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. On Friday, Mayor Rob Saunders made a statement to the media about the lucrative contract that was drawn up between the city and former Mayor Jeff Mulligan's company, Aha Moments, back in 2013. The statement came as a result of an RCMP review of the agreement, which was made while Mulligan was still mayor. The Alberta Crown Prosecutor's Office found no evidence to support a criminal charge against neither the city nor Aha Moments. But as Jeremy Thompson tells us, one Lloydminster resident isn't satisfied with the city's response and wants some answers.
This is the contract that started everything, signed on July 22, 2013 by City Manager Glenn Carroll and Mayor at the time, Jeff Mulligan. Over the course of 3 months, the city paid Mulligan's consulting company, Aha Moments, close to $60,000. Then, on October 21, 2013, the city paid an additional $120,000 as an early termination fee. The city didn't release the payment details until this August, when the Saskatchewan Privacy Commissioner determined there was no reason to keep them private. Now, a concerned citizen is looking for answers.
It's not a personal attack by any means.
Gerald Albers, a Lloydminster resident for 11 years, has had enough.
I finally just realized that if the city wasn't going to comment on it, namely council, that we'd have to have somebody come in and take a look under the hood to see what was going on outside the city of Lloydminster.
So Albers wrote letters to all of the city councillors and Mayor Rob Saunders asking them to get Alberta Municipal Affairs involved. He did hear back from 2 councillors, but nothing directly from Mayor Saunders.
The reply from City Hall was signed by the executive assistant. I didn't write the executive assistant, I wrote the mayor.
The mayor's silence on the issue isn't sitting well with Albers. He says Friday's statement wasn't good enough.
There's a lot of questions that nobody wants to answer. And when you don't want to answer questions, it makes it very concerning as a taxpayer. The mayor had a perfect opportunity. He has been involved, I believe, potentially from the beginning. He has a knowledge that none of us have, and he could answer those questions, but he chose not to. We might not like the answers. I'm prepared to live with whatever the answers are. It's done.
Albers tells us he's done everything he's comfortable doing, but has a message for everyone else who calls Lloyd home.
I would encourage people to call their city councillor, the city councillors and the mayor. If we want to take it further, there's only one other option, and that is for somebody to start a petition.
So far, Mulligan has declined comment on the issue, but in the meantime, Albers still has some questions he'd like answered, including who decided to hire Aha Moments, and what sort of services could the company possibly have provided to warrant the city paying such high fees. Reporting from City Hall for Newcap News, I'm Jeremy Thompson.
A Canadian oil giant is looking to get bigger. Suncor Energy has launched a bid to acquire Canadian Oil Sands Limited. The deal would give Suncor almost 50% of the Syncrude oil sands operation north of Fort McMurray. Suncor is offering a share swap that values Canadian Oil Sands Limited at $4.3 billion. It's also prepared to take over more than $2 billion in Canadian Oil Sands debt. Canadian Oil Sands shares have fallen in value over the past few months, along with the price of oil. Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives for Samaritan's Person Canada, Sean Campbell, spoke candidly to the Lloydminster Rotary Club this afternoon about his frontline experiences overseas and his take on the ongoing situation with ISIS and the refugee crisis. Samaritan's Purse is a Christian organization that operates in 100 countries at any given time. They follow man-made disasters such as wars and care for people both physically and spiritually. A passionate Campbell spoke about ISIS and the refugee crisis, outlining his concern that Canadians really don't understand what's going on.
How do we exercise that compassion? Do we welcome, throw open our arms and welcome in all the refugees from that part of the world, or are we wise about it? Do we try and stop the war in Syria? Do we try and put our efforts behind that? Or do we care for the organizations, help the organizations that are trying to care for the people? We need to be careful. This is a very unique situation, and ISIS is planting terrorists amongst the refugee populations that are going to the Western nations.
Campbell plans on going back overseas to open up their care center that helps people from Iraq and Syria that can't go back to their homes.
Caring for women that have been attacked and brutalized by ISIS soldiers, skills training for men that are looking for jobs in Iraq.
Campbell just returned this past week from Iraq and Lebanon and plans to head back overseas to help with the care center in November. Well, fire can strike anywhere and at any time. That's a message the Lloydminster Fire Department is getting out as we mark Fire Prevention Week in the border city. Hannah Tita reports this year's motto is "Hear the beep before you sleep."
The key message in the fire prevention campaign is to install working smoke alarms. The local fire department is making their way through schools and going over basic fire safety tips.
Fires can strike anywhere and any time, and unfortunately little children can be involved. So the earlier we start them, the better prepared they are in the case of a fire.
With new technology comes easier ways to keep your family safe. Robert McMahon says most smoke detectors have a 10-year life rating, though you should still be testing them once a month.
One of the new units that we're carrying is Nest. It's actually a combination smoke detector and carbon monoxide. And it actually works wirelessly through your cell phone, so it will actually send you notifications right through your phone, through your Wi-Fi network at your home.
The fire department will also be going door to door to conduct residential inspections.
Most homes that we do go to do have small fire hazards. So it's just about mitigating those small hazards before they become anything big.
About half of all house fire deaths result from fires reported between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. when most people are asleep. Fire Prevention Week reminds us how important it is to have a working smoke detector at all times. For Newcap News, I'm Hannah Tita.